What is up, guys? This is your boy Andy Matrix. I talk about anime, manga, video games, geek culture, and Japanese culture. And for today's dose of Japan, I got an interesting topic for you guys. So I was actually thinking for the past few days, and I was thinking about immigration. Now, before you start asking questions or you click away from the video, just hold on, listen up. I was thinking about immigration because I was watching a YouTuber, and I forgot her name, but I was watching a YouTuber, and she said that in a few years, American culture. Well, I don't know if I should say culture. America has a lot of cultures, but she said that there's an aging population in America. People in America are not making enough babies. So basically, the majority of American citizens are like they're not really making babies, especially like certain ethnicities, right? They're not getting married, they're not having kids, and as a result, what's gonna happen is that the population is gonna decrease, and what the government is going to do, they're going to bring in other people from other countries to fill in the spots, right? To fill in the blank, to fill in the positions that Americans could not fill up because they're not having enough kids, right? And so I was thinking, no, she said, the YouTuber said that what's going to happen is that because we're bringing in a lot of immigrants to the country, that the culture is going to change. This is what happens if your population is not producing enough children. Your government allows immigration to fill in the spots for for jobs and things that have to be done in the country. And then because you're bringing in immigrants, those immigrants start to change the country because they start to bring in their culture. And this is not an attack on anybody. I'm not here to talk crap about anybody's culture. I am just using, economics, and I'm just using, statistics and history, because this has been happening throughout history, right? I mean, take a look at history, how people, migrate from one area of the world to another. It tends to affect the culture, right? So the reason why I opened up with this little story is because I was thinking about Japanese culture, and the more I look at Japanese culture and what the government is doing to fix the problems of Japan, I started to think, okay, so one of the things that the Prime Minister of Japan is doing, since Shinzo Abe is not with us anymore, rest in peace, my friend, is that they're bringing in immigrants, right? So Japanese millennials, there's certain jobs that they don't want to do. There's certain jobs that they don't want to do. Like, everybody wants to be on YouTube. Everybody wants to be a fucking TikTok star. Everybody wants to, make money on the internet. I mean, hey, look at me. I'm on the internet, right? But seriously. So the new generation of Japanese, they don't want to do blue collar work, right? They don't want to get married. They don't want to have kids. There's the population of Japan is going down, and there's not enough kids being born to take the place, right? So what happens? So there's not enough kids being born, and then there's job positions that are not being filled in Japan because certain Japanese people don't want to take those jobs. So what the government does naturally is they bring in immigrants from other countries, whether if it's Koreans, whether if it's people from Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnamese, Thailand, America, Europe, South America. They're bringing in, even if it's a few people, they're bringing in people from all over the world to Japan, right? And so now you probably heard about the term Hafu, right? Hafu is just the English word in Japanglish that means half, like half Japanese, half something else, right? It's a pretty cool word. I think it sounds pretty cool. Hafu, right? So there's an increase of Hafus in Japan. So basically, half Japanese, half black, half Japanese, half white, half Japanese, half Mexican. Hello, my Latinos, right? So what's going to happen in Japan in 20 years from now, the culture is going to change. Now, hold on there, okay? I'm, again, not trying to like bash on anybody's culture, but pay attention, because I know some people are kind of sensitive about this. Because there's more half Japanese being born and all these immigrants coming into Japan, is going to change Japanese culture. Now, keep in mind that Japan is still 98% Japanese, and only 2% are actually foreigners, right? But there's already a few, like I think there's already a few 100,000, a couple of 100,000 Hafus, half Japanese and half of other ethnicities in Japan, and because Japan is not making enough babies, Japanese people are not doing the cheeky bang, you know what I'm saying? They're not having enough kids. So in the future, the population of homogenous Japanese is gonna go down from 98% to like 80%. And again, I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing. Looking at the way things are going, I'm just taking a guess here. It's gonna go from 80% homogenous Japanese. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. It's gonna go from 98% homogenous Japanese to 80% homogenous Japanese, and then the other 20% is gonna be immigrants. So 20% of the Japanese population is gonna be immigrants, and this happens because if you are not going to populate your country with your own blood, naturally the government has to bring in other people to fill in those spots. You know who else is doing this? What other countries doing this? Poland is doing it. Poland is bringing in Filipinos. Poland is bringing in Filipinos. I think Korea's is going through the same thing where they're not making enough babies. This is happening to every developed countries. The developed countries, they're bringing people from underdeveloped countries to fill in the spots. It's happening in the UK. It's happening in Germany. Right? People in the West are not having enough kids, especially in England. Right? So then naturally, the immigrants that come to the country, because they bring their traditional values, they have more kids than the average person, than the average Japanese. So let's say one immigrant from Latin America, and I'm using my people as an example, immigrants from Latin America, because they believe in having lots of kids, this is good for the family, having 3-5 kids, they'll go to Japan and multiply. And as a result, you have more half Japanese, half Latinos in Japan. And it starts to populate Japan. And the reason why this happened is because Japanese people were not willing to populate their own country with their own people. Right? I mean, it's a sad truth. I mean, it's sad to say, but I don't know how else to put it. But this is exactly why within the next 20 years, Japanese culture could change, dramatically. Also, according to Japanese news, Japan loses 500,000 people due to certain deaths, right? Whether if it's from old age, from things that naturally like just kill people, right? They lose about 500,000 people each year, or I think they lose like 1 million people each year, but they only have like 400,000 babies. So as a result, it's like they're losing more people than they're making. Right? So yeah, now keep this in mind. I want to make something very clear, that I don't think Japanese culture is going to die completely. I think everything from manga, anime, Japanese entertainment, the geishas, like the geishas, Japanese culture, the Buddhist temples, the Shinto temples, Shintoism, the samurai. Japanese history is going to be very alive. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be very, very alive, and it's still going to attract lots of tourism, of course. But because of the demand for more kids in Japan, and for the labor, and this is going to change the culture, and they're gonna have to bring in new blood. And I am going to leave it at that. Whatever your thoughts are, tell me, comment below. Seriously, tell me what you think. Do you think this is going to affect Japanese culture in the next 20 years? What do you think is going to happen? Comment below. Like this video. And guys, subscribe for more Japanese videos on Japan, Japanese culture, anime, manga, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell for future notifications. This is your boy Andy Matrix. Thank you so much for watching. Godspeed.